go to my Twitter account. It didn't. That's annoying. I don't know why this is happening. I might have to disconnect it and reconnect it at some point. But oh well. It is what it is. How do I get it? Let's see. Let's get on my Periscope and see if I can broadcast this. See if we can get some more folk in here. Let me know that you're here if you are here. And that'd be nice. So let's see. Does it know I'm even streaming right now? Does Periscope think I'm streaming right now? Let's find out. It doesn't seem, it seems like I'm not even connected to Periscope, so I'm gonna have to reconnect this afterwards. Oh well, it is what it is. We got Facebook Live, we got Twitter, or we got YouTube going. So at least there's that. I guess I will post the YouTube link on my Twitter, and maybe some folk will see it. The thing is that Twitter hides links like YouTube links, while they do things like actually get you going on Periscope. And help it live now. There we go. Okay. Oh, subscribe. Always subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm just trying to get over the 2K mark. I'm getting pretty close, so we can get there pretty shortly. Welcome, Draw and Talk, and welcome, Sam. Welcome, Al. Glad you guys are here. Okay, so this is going to be my process. I don't know if I do. Sorry about that. I don't know if I do this right. I taught myself InDesign, and I'm not a good graphic designer or anything like that. And so it is what it is. And hopefully I do it right. And if there's a better way to do this, please tell me how to do this. Now, most of the problem I run into is that artists size things not exactly right. And I'm going to show you how that works and why that is, and then what I do about it, because it's annoying as we get into this. All right. There will be some mild, I guess, probably spoilers for Flying Sparks 4, because I am on the last part of this. And, you know, those are the pages I'm going to be pulling up. So is what it is. If you don't want that, tune out. If you don't care, it's not going to be much. It isn't what it is. As you can see, I've already done most of it. So what I do is I have the pages here. You got, this will be the chapter cover for issue 9 or 10, sorry. And then you go to my standard page where I give all the credits, and then I go into the actual page itself. Now, you'll see that we got a couple lines on here, and I'll tell you what these mean and what all this is, for those who are interested in this sort of thing. I do this every time. My goal in life eventually is to actually have somebody who helps me do this stuff and format stuff for Kindle and does this, because I just want to sit here and write, and this actually takes time away from writing every time I do this, because I only have so much time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Place. Oh, I got to explain the lines first, right? So this is our artboard, right? So this is what a page is going to look like in print. And the middle line here is the safe zone. So, you know, printers have error margins to them, so they could cut anywhere and you never know. And so you want to keep a safe zone, because if you have text, or this is really for your main text and all that. If you have text kind of up at the very top, or it gets cut off a little bit, or even if it's just close, it looks really funky on a page. You know, a lot of amateur printers have issues with that, and there you go. The next is the bleed line. So the printer is supposed to cut literally right here, but again, there's just a margin of error to where it can, you know, I mean, just because it is a process and paper's going through a machine and all that, could kind of cut anywhere like right in here. And so this is to attempt to mitigate some of that loss right there. Now, the problem I have is my artists don't often, sometimes they do. If they're really diligent, sometimes they do. But most of the time, the artists actually don't account for bleed on their pages. And in fact, the way that I do things, my printing is actually a different size than a standard comic book. So when Jethro draws the comic book, Jethro draws it at a standard comic book size. So this would be your standard comic book size right here. It is about 6.625 inches wide and 10.25 inches tall. But because of my hardcover process, I can't do that. My hardcovers, the only way for me to print hardcovers effectively and at a rate that isn't all that expensive is to print it at 7x10. So it's slightly wider. Is that right? Or is it slightly taller? Slightly wider and slightly less tall. So the tops and bottoms really get squeezed a little bit, and I need to stretch for that. So what I do is I have my colorist format it to 7x10. He does his best job, but again, he doesn't usually account for bleed very much. And there's always issues with just like the way that these guys do things. Now, comics get printed in different sizes all the time. Let me show you. I'm going to show you that it's totally not abnormal to just take the files and reprint them. And they don't make people redo the art. It's not normal to make people redo the art. I want Jethro actually to do the art at standard comic book size, because if anybody ever buys this and picks this up and wants to distribute Flying Sparks at some point, I'm going to need a standard comic size for that. And so I just want to keep that option open when I do my 7x10. But if you look, here's an omnibus, right? And you see that an omnibus is a different size than the actual standard comic here. So they have to size things up and change things. And you actually can see between volume, if you have a standard comic version of something and an omnibus volume of something, you actually see that there's slightly different cuts. Sometimes the bottom will cut off a little bit on the pictures. Sometimes the sides will be cut a little differently. It just is what it is. So this does happen all the time, even in the mainstream industry. They don't redo all the art every time they're going to be printing at a different size. And if you saw the other day, I got this baby right here, which is Steve Ditko's Doctor Strange, and it's almost as big as me. So now, back in the day, comics used to have a lot of white on the borders, so they would do the page stuff, and they'd leave all this room of white on the borders. That would account for all the printer different differentiations and all that. But in modern comics, a lot of the pages go what we call full bleed, which means it goes all the way to the edge of the page. And so there's a lot less room for error, a lot less margin for error. You can see right here, for example, that it goes all the way to the edge of the page. So I don't have any of that white space. I can just like plop that in there. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So that is that in a nutshell. So I've got issues 10 and 11 already on here and stuck here. So I've already done that. Archie has like 5 formats, correct? Archie's got like those digests and different things, different aspect ratios. That's what Drake's saying. This is exactly what it gets into. So this is InDesign, and I've already laid it out. So if you're doing a new one, you go to can you see File New on my page when I'm doing this, or does it just like when I go up to File New and all that? Does it show? I can't tell because I can't look at your screen when I'm doing that. But you go to File New and you go to New Document. I hope, yeah, this will come up, and then they'll give you different sizes. I size it to inches, and then this is my 7x10 format. This one's my it defaults to picas. I don't know why. This is my standard comic format. Depending on what I'm doing, you can do whatever you want. You can do it like you can do a landscape version. You can make the pages face each other. You can do all these sorts of things in InDesign. And then I put my bleed here, which is specified by my printer. You ask your printer what their bleed settings are because they're all different. So, and then I hit create. It gives me a page, which is a blank page like this, to put in my Flying Sparks. And then I'll go to a File and Place, or Command D, and I'll go into, actually I'm showing everything in my files here. It's like, this is like Hunter Biden's computer. You get a close look of everything here, except for I've got no weird drug photos or anything like that. Flying Sparks 12, and I think this is the lettered. Yeah, so James Reed letters. So I've got that. So I've got my TIFF files right here. I double click, and it gives me a nice little thing right here so I can place my deal. So I'm going to place it in the corner here, and it will come up mostly there. Now this page does actually have white borders all the way. Oh, it doesn't. So the top has a border for bleed. So I have to make the top go to the bleed. And the problem I'm going to face, which won't matter on this page because it'll be white regardless, but it'll matter on the next page. So I'm just going to size this one first, and then you'll see how I copy the other ones in. I'm going to make sure I can get this here. So I'm going to I'm going to Option Shift, and whoops, that didn't do it. You got to double click because there's a couple different. If you single click, it like draws out this like. Oh man, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. There it goes. So you can see how it will expand for me. Now what you see is the aspect ratio is a little bit wrong, and so it's going to be a little off on what we have for the bleed. Whoa, this wasn't right at all. I didn't have it all the way there. I'll expand it a little more. And whoops. See, that's actually the page template. So it's going to guide the actual art into that. And there you go. So now we've got expanded, should be all the way now. So now you see our file goes all the way to the edges. We have a little issue here with keeping the text in the safe zone. So I'm going to scrunch this down a little bit. And then at the bottom, it looks okay. So I'm just going to cut off white space here. Probably cut off the feet in the panel just because he drew it to a different size a little bit. That'll be okay. That's going to be the best way we can make this page work in terms of just making it look good. I'm actually going to scooch it up a hair. And the reason I'm going to do that is just to get more of the feet in the safe zone or in the actual page there. And this will be out of the safe zone a little bit. It'll be okay. Ingram Spark uses a really big safe zone, so a little bit's going to work out all right here. So what I do at this point is you've got one page in here, as you can see. Is this a bad way to do things? Is there a better way to do things? Am I doing it real bad? Somebody actually knows how to do this. Hey, Shelly, welcome. I don't know. So what I do is I take the page and I copy it, and what I do is I drag the page to this plus sign here at the bottom, and it copies the page. And what I do is I get two of them, and I copy those. And I get them again, and I copy that. And this is going to be the easiest way for me to do this. So now we've got 8 pages. Now we've got 16 pages, and this is going to be 22 pages, so I'll get another 6. And now I have 22 pages of a copy of this. Now, this works best because I can pretty much assume that all of the art is basically. Oh, why is this all doubled up? Oh, I've got a problem with my file here. Hold on. We're going to undo this. So when it pasted my file here, there are actually 2 Flying Sparkses on here. It copied it. I don't know why it copied it, but here it is. So I'm going to delete that one. And that's funky. I have no idea why I did that. All right, let's get the feet back in the zone here. There we go. And looks okay. All right, so now I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to copy all these pages. So what it did, it actually copied the image twice on the page, and I must have just hit a button on my keyboard to do that by mistake. And so now I'm just going to copy this page over and over and over again, and until I get 22 pages. This is the easiest way to do this when you've got a bunch of art. 51 to 72, is that 22? Yes, that's 22. Okay. So that was messing me up because it said there were 44 in there, and as you can see, there's 22, which means there will be 22 pages. What I do is I highlight all of these, except for the first one, because the first one I'm going to keep the same, and I'm just going to relink the page. And when I do that, I'm going to go into my folder where I have all my stuff, and where's issue FS12. And you'll see that there's a handy dandy list of all my things. So now that I've formatted a page, because I know all the pages are going to be the same size, I'm just going to paste in all of the pages with that relink button. Did I do all? Which one am I on now? I think I'm on 4. Shoot. I don't do this when I'm talking usually. I'm losing my my concentration. It's possible there's a duplicate. Oh well. And whoops. Once you get to 12, what I do to handily make it so I don't have to scroll down every single time is I just go like this, and then I can go up, and I don't have to scroll. 18, 19, 20, and I might have missed one just because I'm counting wrong and I'm talking, so I'm not paying attention. Yep, I did. Okay. So there is a problem here, and it is the last one, which means I skipped a file. So now I have to go in here and see where I skipped because I messed up. I missed page 4, 5, 6, 7. I missed page 8. What the heck? Oh, there's 2 page 4s. 54 and 55. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, this is a problem. And this is obviously 72. So page 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm missing page 8 is what it comes down to. So this will be my page 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be page 4, 2, 5, 6, 7. And this will really 5, 6, 7. And so page 8 really, I'm sorry, this is a really lousy way to do this, but whoops, will be here, I think. And we will make sure this is the case afterwards. So let's go page 8. Okay, so now we have 50. Okay, 52. Where's 50? Okay, 51 will be that page 1. So I'm still missing 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is correct so far. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm missing page 16 also. Okay. So after page 15, 65. So after page 65, we'll need to insert this one. Whoops. And this should solve it. We'll get page 16 in there. It's better if I don't talk, I would have not messed up all the numbers and all that. So I would have just gone one by one because I was paying more attention. But always check your numbers. So I've got and this is because you don't want to print things wrong. That is a disaster. So I will have page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And that is my entire issue. And sometimes I put some back matter in. Whoops. So if you add a page, you just stick it at the end and say, why all my other books, and then I do stuff like that. But I don't do that in the Flying Sparks volumes typically. So that's that. Whoops, there's a spoiler. And that is basically how I format my stuff here. It's Flying Sparks Rare Duplicate Pages version. So the first time I did this, incidentally, I did not use these bleed lines. So I didn't bring everything. So I brought all the art out to about here, which is where the page ends, and I didn't bring it all the way out to bleed. And what happened was I ended up with a white stripe on the top and bottom of all the books I printed. So I screwed it up and I printed one myself. But what I always do is I print one off myself before I do a whole lot of them, because I don't want to send a bunch of bad books out, right? So I printed one off myself. It had it on the tops and bottoms, and that's how I learned about the bleed and how important that was. So you don't want to mess with that. So even though it cuts off some of the art at some points, like see the top here, just because the aspect ratio is wrong with the art, I'm going to end up cutting off all this at the top here, but it's not actually going to cause any sort of problem because all the actual art will be getting onto the page itself. So that's about everything. That's how I do this. And what I do is I save at that point, always save. And then I go File and I go Export. And I go Flying Sparks or print. And I go PDF. and I make sure everything's, so there's press quality modified here. I make sure everything's good. So you got compression here. This is important. You want to have at least 300 pixels per inch for your color images and grayscale images, and then I do 6:9 for monochrome images. But I just make sure all that's on there. I make sure all the bleed's there. I don't want any of the markers on my pages because that will come across in the print if I do that. Use document bleed settings, so it's already in there. Conversion rates, make sure it's CYMK because RGB is for web use, not for that. And then I go export, and it saves it. So that's that. So usually for the file ends up really huge for this. So I'll let you know what it ends up once it's actually done printing and saving. But that's what happens. So I try to do a second version for my backers when I upload it, because otherwise you're going to have a file that is so large that it's unwieldy. And I tried not to do that for my backers. So I'll let you know how big this one is. It's still loading. And once it's done, we will find out. If it's not that big, okay, so it's 151 megs. Not all that bad. I've had some of these go 300 megs, 400 megs. It just depends on what the letterer does and the colorist does. Sometimes they flatten the files, sometimes they don't. It's really a hit and miss process. But this one is not that bad. 151. I might actually just upload the print version to the people who get the digital version at 151 megs for 70 pages. I could make it smaller, and if I wanted to make it smaller, this is what I do. So I go to export again, and I make a PDF, and I change the compression to 72, or maybe 100, just to be nice. 72 is what you need for a computer screen, though. And then like 200, and then it'll make a much smaller file, is what it comes down to. So that's it. That's my whole shtick today. See what everybody else is doing in the chat. Was that interesting? One of those I got was 2 gig. Yeah, so one of those you got was 2 gigs. Punchline shouldn't have been 2 gigs. Now, when I was originally learning how to do this, Drake, I was not doing this. What I was doing originally was I was taking the TIFF files and just sticking them into Adobe Acrobat and ordering them together in Adobe Acrobat, because I wasn't printing them myself. So the early ones I was having Arcade and print for me. And I didn't learn how to do this until much later. So I did that, and that's how I kind of learned my errors on the printing ways. And some of those files, just because these TIFF files are such high res colors, which means I can upsize them. I mean, at some point, they're big enough to where, in theory, I can make flying sparks the big old mother. I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually do that, but I can in theory. Oh, it wasn't one from me. It was from, oh, you know what? Oh, Punchline. That's right. Punchline number 1 was 2 gigs. I saw that file also. I don't know why Bill did that, but I have had files in the past that were very big like that, just because I was not using this process correctly. And they're unwieldy sometimes, but that's it. I mean, now Flying Sparks is ready for print. I just, that's it. That's how it works. All right. So I'm done with that. And I got a notification this morning. I sent an update that Kickstarter's on the way and that this is done. That'll be out to backers soon on the digital level. If you have not backed Flying Sparks and you missed the campaign, I implore you to do so. I've got an online bookstore. I just put this link in the chat, and I've got it down in the description below. And I'll show you how this all works, because this is pretty slick too. So I go on BackerKit after the campaign, and this allows me to sell all my books. So we've got Flying Sparks right here. I've got all my physical comics. So you've got trade paperback, hardcover, volume 2, volume 3. I've got, I think I've got 3 or 4 of these left. I don't remember. So you might want to order that if you missed it. And I've got probably 15 left of the volume 3 variant. And all the different versions, issue number 0, Metaman Special, the Punchline crossover. So this one's new. And I marked that as creator choice, because you guys might want to grab that. Clockwork Dancer, Dynamite Thor, Spectacular. So all my comics are here, all of them. And all of my digital comics. So if you just wanted a digital comic and you didn't want to go grab print, you wanted to check out some of my other books or whatnot, they're all available digitally here too. So that's great. And then I've got all my books too. So, and what I do for the books is I sign them and I will personalize them, whatever you want, and send them over. Right now, Star Realms Rescue Run out of print. This is going to be something that you can't get. And Make Science Fiction Fun Again also is currently out of print. I will eventually get that back into print, but it's been low priority. Those are my short stories, and short stories traditionally don't sell as well. So I've just not taken the time to reformat all that, since I have to do all this myself these days. But I've got, where's the other? I'm missing Sanctified and Glorified. So I'll put so this is why you review stuff. I'll put those up on the store shortly. Got a bunch of t-shirts. So basically any Flying Sparks cover you want, we can do t-shirts and posters of also. And that is my online store and how to format comics. All right, somebody asked, like they were curious about my process, and I forget who that was. Are you here, and how is that different from your process? Draw and Talk, are you there? You want to come on? If you're here still, Draw and Talk, message me on Facebook or Twitter, and I'll send you the links. We can actually talk about what your process is, because I'd be interested to hear that myself. Am I doing this a good way, a bad way? I have no idea. I literally just went to a YouTube video and kind of figured out how to do it. Now that YouTube video, the challenge I have is the artist not making the pages the right size, and I really am annoyed by that. And I don't know how to fix that. But that's what I've got right now. So they're supposed to just turn in the right size, of course, but it's easier for me to just fix it rather than just like go, no, you got to go redo this page. So, because as you saw, it just took 15 seconds, but that's that. All right. 1:16. So I actually do not have time for like a 1.5 hour stream today. If you want an interesting comic talk and indie industry talk, I did a great one yesterday with Tim Lim, who came on about halfway through the stream, and it was really good. So that was it. We just did a little process thing today. I hope that's fun. And that's it. Back Flying Sparks. Honestly, the story's so good. And this volume 4, if you've read it, there's like 4 or 5 people who have my like super advanced copies of it. It's totally worth the read. I got one from my advanced reader. A comment. I'm going to mention it. Let's see. Let me find it. I have to find it because I don't prepare these things. And he says, absolutely brilliant. I feel what Chloe and Johnny are feeling, and that ending. So he loves it. So I'm glad that it's resonating and working well. I think Volume 4 just has upped the game again from all the prior ones. And Volume 5, which I'm writing right now, is just going to absolutely blow your guys' mind. So get in now, catch up. Volume 5 will be here before you know it. And Jethro Morales, our artist, is going to be a Marvel Comics artist. So I'm trying to get him to finish up as much of Volume 5 as possible before he, sails for better waters. But yeah, he committed to finishing this storyline out at the very least. And I think he might even be willing to go beyond that. So if we do a second storyline, I'll have to talk to him, but I think he's in for that. So we'll see what we can do. And that will be that. Thanks, guys, everybody, for watching. Hope that was entertaining and useful, or at least fun. I don't know. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. I think I'm going to have on the guy who's got, who is it? Let's go to Kickstarter. I'm going to have on this guy, The Moral Stingray, a 122-page graphic novel about a troubled teen with great power, no responsibility. He'll be on chatting with me, the writer Aaron Walther, next week. I did back this. He is a good guy, so I like to support good guys. And that's that. And I should also mention our Indiegogo campaign right now, which is Napalm Brothers issue 2. So you saw my formatting. I formatted Napalm Brothers also. And so everybody who backed Flying Sparks is going to be getting a free copy of the digital version of Napalm issue 1. And this is so people can check it out and see this and see, maybe you'll like this. I am publishing issue 2 on behalf of 6 Scale Combat. And this is up on Indiegogo now. And yeah, I'll be formatting his book just the same way I did my book when we go to print for this one. So it's a useful skill, I guess. All right, guys, we will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.